I did not know looking for someone would feel like a second job. Nobody warned me. She sent me a voice note from her apartment in Chicago on a Saturday morning in March. Her chai was going cold on the coffee table. Her notes app had 47 screenshots of profiles sorted into folders she had made herself. And there was a message draft her mother had written that she had rewritten twice. It was 11 a.m. and she was already tired. Her name is Yamini. She is 29, a UX researcher in Chicago, and she had been searching for 6 months. She told me one thing I will not forget. I did not know looking for someone would feel like a second job. Nobody warned me. Nobody warns anyone. Our community does not talk about this part. We talk about the wedding, the engagement photos, the pinned Instagram post at the end of the year. We do not talk about the months in between, when she is running a search that her co-workers do not know about, that her parents weigh in on every Sunday, and that she is somehow doing completely alone in a way that 3 million other women she will never meet are also doing completely alone. I built VivahReady.com after watching my daughter hit this wall, and after 6 months of watching women like Yamini hit the same wall and think they were the only one. Here is what is actually happening under the surface. The 25 Cigna Loneliness Index found 57% of Americans report feeling lonely. The American Psychological Association's 25 Stress in America poll said roughly half of US adults feel isolated, left out, or lacking companionship often or some of the time. Those are not dating numbers. Those are the background rate. That is the floor everyone is walking on. Now add a 6-month private marriage search on top of that floor. A search where you are reviewing dozens of profiles a week, having 3 careful conversations a month, and getting silent no responses more often than you will ever admit out loud. Peer-reviewed research published in 25 on problematic online dating use found a direct link between app use and 3 things: social appearance anxiety, social interaction anxiety, and rejection sensitivity. And women reported higher dating anxiety than men. So the starting line is half of America feels isolated, then you stack women report higher dating anxiety, then you stack a private high-stakes search with a family audience on top of it, and then someone says to her, just put yourself out there. Where? Where exactly? At week 22, Yamini noticed something. She could not open the app anymore without first making herself a cup of coffee she did not need. She was bracing. This is what month 6 looks like. Not dramatic, not a breakdown. Just the quiet shift where the search stops feeling like a project and starts feeling like a referendum on her. She told me word for word over that voice note. I stopped telling my closest friends when a conversation went well, because I did not want to have to explain it later when it did not. That is what the cost looks like when you name it. Not I feel sad, not I am burnt out, just I am editing what I share with the people who love me, because protecting myself is now a second full-time thing. Nobody sees that from the outside. She is still going to work, still doing her yoga class on Tuesdays, still texting her mother every night. From the outside, nothing is wrong. And from the inside, she is carrying the weight of a search that was never built for her mental health in the first place. 3 pressures stack on Indian American women in a way they do not stack anywhere else. First, endogamy math. The Carnegie Endowment for International Peace 20 Indian American Attitude Survey, 1,200 respondents. 85% of foreign-born Indian Americans have an Indian origin spouse. For US-born Indian Americans, that number is 71%. The effective pool is smaller, which means every profile is weightier and every no is more concentrated. Second, family visibility. On most Indian matrimony platforms, the profile is managed jointly. 77% of profiles on major matrimony sites are self-managed, often by a parent or a family member, not the person searching. Every yes and every no becomes a family conversation, not a private one. You are never searching alone. You are searching with an audience. Third, platform design. Most matrimony sites were built for one thing: volume. Browse, browse. The person viewing is invisible. The person being viewed is exposed. Your photos are public before anyone has said yes to you. So stack those 3. Smaller pool, family audience, designed to expose. And we wonder why month 6 hits like a wall. It is not a mystery, it is math. Yamini told me the hardest part was not the profiles. It was the Sunday phone call with her mother afterwards. I built VivahReady.com because I watched my daughter go through exactly what Yamini is going through. And I realized the thing nobody was building for was not a smarter algorithm, it was a safer emotional experience across the whole search. Every profile on VivahReady.com is manually reviewed by a real human being on my team before it ever goes live. Every person is phone verified before they appear in anyone else's matches. Your
photos stay hidden until both people have said yes to each other. There is no catalog of faces, there is no browsing. Report someone and a real person on our team reads it. Not a queue, not an algorithm, a person. If something feels off about a profile, you tell us, and we act on it within the same day. These are not growth features, they are dignity features. Each one exists because the absence of it is what shows up in week 15. Unverified profiles show up as rejection fatigue, public photos show up as the feeling of being browsed, a report button with nobody behind it shows up as not being heard, and the cost compounds in a way the platform never sees, but the searcher always feels. What I wanted for my daughter was not a faster match. It was a search where her mental health came out the other side in one piece. That is a different product. That is the product I built. You can delete your profile anytime. You can pause your profile anytime. The control stays with you, not with us. That is what a privacy-first platform actually means in practice, not in marketing copy. One of our early members wrote this to us, and I want to read it exactly as she wrote it. For 6 months, I thought something was wrong with me. I thought I was too picky. I thought I was bad at this. And then I read one post from another woman in the community, and I realized I was not the only one who had stopped opening the app without coffee. That is the moment. That is the shift. It is not a feature, it is a feeling. It is the specific relief of realizing the thing you thought was your personal failure is actually the shape of the experience. And it has a name. And other people are carrying it too. Yamini eventually told her closest friend Nikhil, not her parents, not her therapist. Nikhil had gone through the same search a year earlier. He listened. He did not try to fix it. He said, I remember the week I started bracing before the app. She said later that was the first week in 6 months she did not feel like she was carrying it alone. You are not broken. The search is hard. The silence around it is harder. And the moment you name the cost out loud to one person, the weight changes. One thing this week, if you are the person in month 5 or month 6, say the cost out loud to one friend who is not your family. That is the move, not a fix, a naming. If you are the parent watching your daughter or your son do this and go quiet, ask them one question this week. What does the exhaustion actually feel like for you? Then listen to the answer, do not problem solve it.
The search will keep going. That is the reality. But the way you carry it can change this week. VivahReady.com. Built by a parent who watched her own daughter hit month 6. Built for Indian Americans who deserve a search that does not cost them their mental health. Come ready to have a real one.